So, we're going to be taking a quick look, unboxing, and stepping through the setup of the newly released Everything Presence Lite detector, which was first released in October 2023 for £28 or around $30 plus postage from Everything Smart Technology or EST. It was created by a fellow smart home enthusiast, Lewis, whose YouTube channel you may have seen, links down in the description below. This is not a sponsored video as I bought this with my own money and it is my own personal review. I didn't have to get approval from EST. When in stock, it took my order around 5 working days to dispatch and it arrived within 18 hours as it shipped within the same country. The box includes everything you need to get it up and running and connected to Home Assistant without using any tools. In the box, we get a custom ESP32 board with Wi-Fi and a built-in Bluetooth proxy for Home Assistant, a millimeter wave radar detector, a light, brightness or luminosity sensor, a 3D printed case, and a stand and a right angle USB-C to A connector. It is a much cheaper alternative to other presence detectors like the Aquara Presence Sensor FP2, which costs around £80, and the Everything Presence 1 kit, which is double the price at £60 but includes additional sensors like temperature and humidity. It also allows more sensors to be added like a PIR or infrared motion detector. So, what can the Everything Presence Sensor Lite do? It provides real-time presence sensor data that includes tracking of multiple targets in different zones, their angle in relation to the sensor, their speed, and the distance from it. It is capable of detecting a person even if they're sitting still, as it can detect small movements such as breathing. However, I was able to sit long enough for it to give me a false positive and detect me as away, but it does provide options to increase the timeout as well as sensitivity to up to 6 meters. It can even spot me through a wall. With this data in Home Assistant, you can set up automations to basically do anything. The most common use case would be to automatically turn the lights on when someone walks into range and off when they leave. It provides real-time luminosity data so that an automation could turn on lights when the room becomes dark enough. Potentially this could be used to save power. However, I often wonder if adding additional smart devices consumes more power, as they're always listening for commands or sending data. However, most devices will be using less than 1 watt, but it all adds up. The lights that we'll be automating use around 30 watts combined, so there could be some potential energy savings. For the Everything Presence Lite, it uses around 0.9 to 1.2 watts during boot and zero point 0.6 to 0.9 watts while idle. Let's take a quick look at how to connect it to Home Assistant and how these automations can be set up. First, we need to install the firmware via the USB cable and connect it to our 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi network. Once connected, we can add the ESP Home integration to automatically discover it or manually set a static IP address in your router's configuration and then add its IP address if auto discovery fails. Now let's set up an automation that turns the light on when the room is dark enough and presence is detected. So here I have 3 triggers, and if any of these match, then all of the following conditions will be checked and will need to be true before turning on the lights. The first trigger checks to see if the sunset is within 30 minutes. If this is true, then the conditions are checked and then the action is fired if all of these are true. The second is if the luminosity drops below 2.7. The third is if the occupancy changes to detected. So any of these 3 could be triggered. So this is an or condition, and then the conditions below are and conditions. So all of these must be true in order to fire the action. The first condition is to check if it's before 10 p.m. We don't want it turning on the lights after we've gone to bed. The second checks to see if the TV light is off. There's no point in turning it on if it is already on. The third condition checks if any of the 2 conditions match. So the luminosity needs to be below 2.7 and the sunset offset has to be within 30 minutes. If any of these 2 are true, then the whole condition will be true. The fourth checks to see if more than 1 person is at home. And the final condition checks to see if presence is detected. Then if all of these conditions are true, then we turn the lights on. Then, to turn the lights off, we check if the sensor changes from detected to clear. If this is the case, we check to see if the light is on. There's no point in calling this automation if it is already off. Then we call the service to automatically turn the lights off slowly. To avoid a jarring experience of all the lights just turning off if presence is no longer detected, I've written the script to slowly turn off the lights. This checks to see if the occupancy is clear. We turn off one light at a time, waiting 10 seconds between each one. So we'll check to see if it's clear, turn off another light, wait 10 seconds, check to see if the occupancy is still clear, then we turn off the final light. Now that it's all set up, I never need to touch another light switch again. The Everything Presence Lite does have a beta feature to set up different detection zones. However, setting up these seems a bit of a trial and error because you have to define each zone coordinates in a 3D space by using start and end x, y millimeter values, which don't really make it obvious where the zone starts and ends in the physical room. As the sensor can pick up target positions, movement and speed, distance and angles, it would be nice to have a calibration option. For example, an option to press start and then for it to monitor a target, e.g. a person, and then for that person to walk into the position of the room where the zone should start and then walk to the position where the zone should end, pressing confirm each time. At the moment, this isn't easy. The Smart Home Junkie, another YouTuber, shows this feature off in his video. Link in the description below. Also, it would be nice to have some different color case options available to better blend into your room. The 3D files will be available from their website if you're able to print your own case. Currently, I don't believe that there's anything else on the market that can beat it at this price point. Now, yes, you could try building one yourself, but it would require soldering an ESP32 board and the sensors together, 3D printing a case and the parts, and also writing your own firmware, which would most likely be more expensive. Because it uses the ESP32 board, it can be extended by connecting other sensors to the spare GPIO pins and modifying the firmware. So the Everything Smart Technology team provides a feature-rich, great value product and an easy way into presence detection. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to check out my previous video where I unboxed and reviewed a similarly priced smart IKEA air quality sensor, which can be found here.